Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the StarCraft 2 World Championship Series. I'm Nathanius, joined by Katz, as we make our way through Group C for Coco, as we have a winner's match to get through.
Yeah, perhaps unexpected by some, with Namshar being here over Showtime. So I would say Harstem must be the favorite here.
He looked really good in his match. I'm not going to lie. He looked really good. I mean, Harstem always looks good, but he just got that.
This group, like if you put the StarCraft team on Tinder, this is the group to put on, right?
Yeah.
The one that you would buy super likes for almost.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. Big group date, you know what I'm talking about. It's just good times all around. And it is Harstem versus Namshar as we're loading in. Have you been getting a lot of that done now that you're up where people actually live in Southern California?
What?
You made your way out of Orange County. It's a bit quiet over there, isn't it, Paolo?
A little bit, yeah. It's but I like it. Quiet is nice. All right, we are loaded in and spawning in the top left-hand side. The man with the biggest lips, perhaps in the world. It is Harstem. Harstem.
I did get a call from Guinness Book of World Records before we went on air today. They did confirm it.
Oh,
so
that's excellent. Yeah, I was
known.
wondering if.
It is known. In the bottom right, his opponent, the blue Zerg player. He is Namshar.
Playing a great series against Showtime just earlier. So we'll see if he's able to upset once again.
Now, I have to say, Harstem did a lot of what Showtime was doing in this first match, except he just kind of did it better, which just feels weird to say about Harstem. Like, he's a player that, when we talk about top Europeans, he's a little bit in flux. Showtime is a player that we usually say is a bit more dominant, more consistent.
Yeah, I think consistency is the main difference maker between those two players. Harstem is deceptively smart, and I say deceptively because he's a little bit of a clown, and that's the face that he puts outwards, but he is a brilliant man, and so he makes brilliant moves. But brilliant sometimes backfires, Nate, and that's...
I've seen him in the club. He also has brilliant moves.
Yeah, he certainly does. Yeah, I mean, he's the type of player that will make you go, whoa, that was awesome, kind of like Showtime did with that triple recall in the last game. But he's a little bit more inconsistent, I think, for the same reasons, whereas Showtime almost always goes for a similar approach. Harstem tends to mix it up a little bit more.
Yeah, that's true. And I'm curious to see if he does mix it up at all. Because for Showtime's first match, when he played against Namshar, was the 3 Oracles. It didn't really do a crazy amount. It was a good amount of storms, though, that he used to get through the swarm hosts and punch in the dub. And then he mixed it up. He did like that Oracle build, and the Adept build, and we were a little bit confused about that on Kairos Junction.
I liked it. I think that was great by Namshar with the Evo Chamber wall off to mitigate. It was a Protosy thing, right? Like, it's like you show something and then do something else, and the power of it is how unexpected it is, rather than how early you can get the 6 Adepts or whatever, right? Like, that's obviously not going to be a good timing, but just the surprise factor is what he was going for. Didn't get it. Didn't pan out too well for him. But right here, right meow, we have a different game in our hands, and one thing that Namshar did very well, I want to say better than sort of, was the early and mid game, whereas the late game wasn't that convincing. Yes, he beat Showtime, but I didn't really feel like he was using the Infestors to their max potential. And Harstem is also a very, very good player come the late game. He is well versed.
Yeah, that is something he certainly has good abilities at, as this Phoenix is going to pop out right in front of the Overlord's face. He's got the Robo coming in behind. One thing that Harstem did that I think is worth noting in his first series. Oh, wow. Nice Artosis announcement. There are better ones I've heard. But the Oracle follow-up, but he got usually like really quick Prism behind everything and move out with just like a few gateway units to try and like do a bit of harass off of it. Even like the opening Adepts. And then he still went for what we saw Showtime doing, which was the quick Immortals to follow up.
Yeah.
and then, well, it's we've seen it quite a few times today now. This
The move out.
the 4 to 6 sentries with 2 immortals,
Yeah.
and just a ragtag assortment of gateway units.
Yeah.
But Harstem did a good job because he had his oracles for that push every time, and he was able to cover it with the stasis wars.
Exactly. That is very important. Also clearing the path and making sure that your sentries are grouped up if you're gonna do something like that. Also the map matters, right? Like the position that you're engaging on to make sure that force fields are a viable option. This map is a good example of that. Both thirds are not too open, or at least there is possibilities for walking back to chokes and making use of those force fields. So I wouldn't be surprised if that is exactly what we see from Harstem here.
Now the Prism did take the Adepts away, so that poor little sentry's got to hold on to everything on his own. And a Zealot will get warped.
A really awkward Zealot. It would be so difficult to identify that you can capitalize on that, but that Zealot's gonna have to walk back. So if the Zerglings were still available over there, he could have run by.
Now the Adepts do a little bit of poking on their own, but he's got just 1 Oracle now, right?
Yeah. Relatively fast lair for Namshar. We'll see if he just chooses to get the roach speed with it, or if he's gonna switch onto something like Hydras. I don't think we've seen many, if any, Hydras today.
No, not really at all. Is that something that's been becoming common, Cats, or is it just, are you surprised by that at all?
Not too surprised. I mean, things tend to fluctuate in a way where everyone kind of, you know, like watches Serral type thing, and if Serral thinks something is best, then that's probably what everyone does for a little bit, especially at the highest level of play. So I don't know. People don't really mix it up as much as I would like to see. That's why Dr. Dario was so fresh.
Dr. Dario, so fresh and so clean.
Indeed. So, I mean, in particular, it's very... Both of these players have, I mean, sort of, and Namshar, the 2 Zergs in this group, have shown this tendency to do this in over their game. So it might be a thing of approach as well. Like with sort of, I know that that he's a very iterative player and that he will repeat the same thing over and over, and that's how he has such great mechanics. Namshar, I'm not sure. I don't know him as well as a player. So I don't know if he's willing to switch it up.
That's fair. We got the Stasis Fords coming in to cover the army as it starts to make its way towards the natural.
Yep.
There's that Prism now going to be reinforcing on the spots.
Oh, very good force fields. Good preemptive biles, or at least quick biles to break them. But Harstem is in a very difficult position for Namshar to overtake.
Oracle's able to fight here as well. Just absolutely brutal. The Queens go down, so the Oracles are able to just fight by that main and natural.
Beautiful.
And the Roach Horn. Is that was the only one he had, right? So he's got, cannot build any more. He's
dead now. Yeah, he is pretty dead.
GEG.
So beautiful push by Harstem. They're delaying the third a little bit in order to reinforce a little bit harder. Takes the very good position because it's so choky. Whereas we saw, for example, Showtime pushing onto maps where he couldn't find those chokes and wasn't wide in the open, and that's where force fields are not so effective. So Harstem making great use.
Damn hot right now.
He is.
I'm glad we agree with each other.
I mean, there's nothing to disagree there.
Yeah. Do you agree, chat? You guys like Harstem's gameplay today? He's doing really well. It's very clean. Just playing like at another level, it feels like today.
Yeah.
I don't.
He's inspired.
Yeah. European cereal aisles are like, they don't even have a whole aisle for it. So I'm like, I don't know that I can say he ate his Wheaties this morning. What would it be for? Well, he's Dutch, so he had
probably
his,
just frosted flakes and the regular, the rooster, the green rooster. You know, the unflavored ones.
Just corn.
Yeah,
flakes.
just cornflakes.
God, no. Okay. Well, he had something better than that. He had his pannekuchen today. That's Dutch pancakes. Yeah.
Dutch might
or his
be
stroopwafel.
At risk of offending anyone, Dutch might be my least favorite language.
Oh well, it can be painful to listen to at times.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. But thankfully, everyone in the Netherlands speaks pretty good English. So
for the most part.
Yeah. So
Very tall people.
as an ignorant
the tallest
American,
people in the world.
Well, I mean, if you've seen the, have you been to?
I have not. I have not.
Oh, well, there's so many bikes. Imagine the most beautiful city, but bikes chained to literally anything you could chain a bike to. Those people ride around bikes so much everywhere. There's no way they couldn't be 6 foot tall bronze gods.
Oh, is that actually how you grow, by riding bikes? Is that
I don't know. I just assume that they take care of themselves, but their culture is so exercise heavy just by
That's
how
cool.
people get around. They have parking garages full of bikes.
That's awesome.
It's a thing. Yeah, when I went there, I'd never seen more bikes in my whole entire life.
Did you ride some?
No, goodness.
Well, if I ever go, I'll rent a bike. It seems like the way to go.
Yeah. Probably worse traffic riding a bike than walking. It might actually be faster to walk around sometimes.
Now that you mention it, cyclists do seem to be a little bit taller than the average person. Like when I'm trying to picture cyclists.
Well, you know, the anatomy of bikes just kind of stretch out the human body. The
Yeah.
longer you get into riding bikes as a kid,
Right.
the wheels,
It's
it's
that developmental
scientifically proven
stage.
that they actually, they just stretch you out normally. You don't even realize it, but then the next thing you know, you're 6 foot tall and you're a DJ.
Milk is kind of a big thing there too, right? Which is like what at least my parents always wanted to feed me a lot of milk.
Is there
so that I
something
would
with
grow.
living below sea level that makes people tall? You know what I mean?
I
Like,
see what you're saying.
like your biology recognizes that you might drown, so it's like, well, we need to be
Right.
a little bit taller so
Right.
that we don't drown if the ocean comes over us.
I had never thought of it that way, but
It's
now
like-
that you mention it, it makes perfect sense.
Yeah, so that's evolution. If you want to have tall kids, make sure you raise them below sea level, and then their body's natural desire to not drown in a flood will kick in, and they'll just grow more.
Yeah, so long
There
as
you
they
go.
have bikes.
We solved it. Could someone go back in time and tell my dad that?
All right. So pretty standard wall off here coming from Harstem. Nothing out of the ordinary, as per usual. As per usual.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean there is no probe scout very early, so that's something to note. The hatchery does get dropped by Mr. Namshar.
Yes. King's Cove gets played almost every series. We've seen some back and forth on Kairos. We've seen some Tom Cruise 84. We've seen some Thunderbird. I'm trying to think now. What do we just not really see a whole lot of? Not too much.
Tom
Not too
Cruise, not
much.
that much, honestly.
I feel like we've seen it more than Cyberforest.
Yeah.
There's a map I'm blanking.
What's the map we just saw?
Kairos?
Kairos. I don't think we've seen much of Kairos actually.
Not too much.
Yeah.
Terrans like it.
And it's good for that immortal push. Harstem is that kind of player, by the way, that will take into account what his build order is for the map, rather than just this is my build order. You know,
I do feel like
this is
there's
a
one.
Protoss map.
I do feel like there's one or two maps we're just not seeing though. For some reason, I'm blanking on it. But
My point is, a lot of people go, "What's the best Zerg map?" or "What's the best Protoss map?" I'm like, "What are you doing?" Right?
yeah.
And
Oh
that's-
yeah.
Harstem does that very well, where he will think about maps and strategies and not just about the race, because that is not, the map is not objectively good for a race or another. It's
Yep.
what makes it good is the units and the strategies that you choose to do to exploit the map in itself. So if you don't know how to exploit the map, if you don't know, it's useless information to know this map is good for Zerg or good for Protoss for the most part if you don't know why, because then what are you gonna do?
Yeah.
Right? Like,
Yeah, it's like, oh, is this a good Protoss map? And the person's like, well, that depends. Are you an all-inner? Yes. Do you like to play fast 3 base? No.
Yeah. Yes, exactly. So let's see, this Adept, will he find anything? Probably not.
yeah.
Oh, could get that creep tumor actually. Oh, doesn't see it. I think that creep tumor could have died. It's the first creep tumor, so it cannot be cancelled to get a refund.
How do you feel about the creep tumor cancellation refund? Should the Oracle get energy back for dropping off a stasis ward if the Queen got the tumor back?
Oh, is that how we're doing this,
deal?
Nate?
Would you take that deal?
Is that how we're doing this, Nate? Well, what about warpins then, Nate?
Well, technically they're production, so
So
you do get it back if you cancel that. But you can't like cancel a warpin. The only way to cancel the warpin is to just turn the prism off or kill your own pylon in less than 5 seconds.
Yeah.
And
Oh,
you
that would
could
be
get your
that would
money
be the next level play. Just like hurt your pylon to where you can choose to warp in or not.
Well, then your opponent can also do that, whether you warpin or not.
That is an excellent point. All right, here is the Oracle. Not gonna find anything. Perfect timing on the Spore, so as efficient as Namshar could have been here.
Did you know that the stasis ward is the only light structure in StarCraft?
I did not know that.
It's the only building Hellions do bonus damage to.
That is pretty cool. So additional gas is being taken here for Namshar, going up to, what is that, a total of 4? Yes.
Yep, starts the lair. But here come those oracles. Here comes the Phoenix.
Pesky, pesky. Only the 2 oracles though. The Phoenix kind of just juking a little bit, maybe making or trying for the Queen to stay back at this natural base. Open up the main base for some damage, but doesn't find too much.
Yeah, these shields are gone on a lot of the oracles and the Phoenix already, so there was
Well done though.
only so much room they were going to have at this phase.
I want to say much better control, generally speaking, from Harstem with the oracles than Showtime even, right? Like he's been really good at stutter stepping.
That was the first thing I noticed from the second match of the day, was just the oracle control from Harstem has been really, really good. And he took some damage, but if he keeps those 3 alive, like when he does that follow-up attack, it's going to be very strong, just like it was in the last map.
Yeah, oh, nice snipe there on that drone. Gotta be careful with the Warp Prism. And we might see a recall here as the very nice job, again, identifying that the Queens are out of position. Good micro on the Oracle while he micros the other 2. Beautiful job, killing 9 drones total. Harstem, and also the 9 some mining time as the both mineral lines had to be evacuated briefly.
No, that's some good eating right there. So
very nice.
He's got still 2 of his oracles alive, which is completely fine. The prism is still alive. Every drone here is just cash, money, cash, money, cash.
Money, cash. And you know, the cool thing is too, he goes to the corner of the map, and like I said, like maybe he'll recall. Namshar has to be thinking that that's an option too, right? So he waits a little bit, and when it's the most inconspicuous, he shows up at the 3rd.
Ooh, here we go.
That's extra damage. Love this.
You all ready for this? Burp, 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 burp.
Oh.
And
oh, wow. Meow. Very, very nice. And look at this at the same time, just relentless.
I love it.
I love it too.
It's just beautiful.
No breathing room, no thinking room even, right? Thought takes a space, Nate. And at what point, if you're Namshar, do you...
Man. That's deep.
Is it?
Thought takes a space.
It does. Can you think 2 thoughts at the same time, Nate?
I can think about how much I love StarCraft and how much I love you at the same time.
Those are your feelings and your thoughts interfering, I think. All right, so very, very well done by Harstem here.
The Oracle comes in from the back too at the same time, like
downtown,
distracting the Queens. Every little bit matters here. 2 oracles that can now freely hold position over the army.
This
burn
is
all
a
their
ballet
energy.
dance. Oh, a little bit of a misstep there. Gods can bleed, and look at that immortal focus firing onto the roaches as well, kind of ignoring the Ravager because it doesn't do extra damage to it. So very, 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 very well done.
Yep, still has that 1 immortal, and now because the Ravagers and the Queens are dead, that Spore Crawler is the only thing he has to deal with the Warp Prism.
Yeah, good focus fire by Namshar and good presence of mind to reposition the Spore Crawler to kind of make the Warp Prism move a little bit.
But the Ravagers, now here comes another Warp in. That 1 Ravager isn't enough to even kill it.
Yeah.
Harstem is repositioned, but Harstem's done it, man.
He has done it, and just beautiful play through and through.
Yeah, this was sick.
Yeah.
What an amazing best of 3 by Harstem.
Really, just clean as it gets, right? Like 1, 2, 3 punch. It's
do we call him Mr. Clean now? Do we get him like a plain white
I feel like we need to save some nicknames for someone else because this man is just too good.
That's true. He's already got quite a few nicknames.
Yeah, he's got, and they're all good. You know,
they're all good.
Yeah,
that's true. Harstem does it. Another weeb destroyed here. Just fantastic. He's gonna make it out in first place in this group, and he.
You know, Harstem actually has a little bit of a prejudice against weebs. He's the most loving person otherwise. I've never heard him say anything bad against anyone, except for weebs. So watch out.
Watch out. Chat was very concerned. Apparently we have a lot of weebs watching.
Oh, of course.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I have to hide my All Might poster when I get home now so Harstem doesn't find me because he's obviously in very good shape today.
Yeah.
He gets out in first place. Congratulations. Namshar will fall down to the final match as we prepare for that coming up next. Here is today's schedule for Group C. And that's it. Final match for Group C coming up next. It's going to be Namshar versus... no.
Showtime.
Showtime.
Yep.
Namshar versus Showtime.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So that's a rematch. Namshar won the last one. It's not going to be as easy or clean cut as most would think if you're just joining us. This is a barn burner.
Yes, it is. We'll be getting into this one after a short break. You're watching WCS. We'll be right back.